Gonna rock it now. Gonna rock it now. By Jackson Aurelia. Jackson Aurelia. Gonna rock it now. Gonna rock it now. Rock it, Jackson Aurelia. TForce. Welcome to the rework of the TForce. Now we going hard cause we bumping at the beat source. It's a 3-course dinner of dudes bringing the news and stats, interviews and casts from the pro scene. So fresh and so clean, like you're laning with Nami in the bot lane. Keep it hot like brand, practicing his dot game. Give it to you easy like you're Resi in a bot game. Imagine Draven at prime time. Now ulti like LeBlanc can copy that 4 times, but manlier. Knock it up like now fight planning a family-er. You gotta be tuned in like Sona on the ad wall. Get on the chat call. Can a podcast really be all that? Of course. How do 4 guys make a Triforce?
Hey guys, welcome to the Trinity Force podcast. My name is Adam pwnophobia Cogswell, and as you can see, I am not prepared for this show tonight as I do not have the show doc in front of me. It is up
You're
now.
You're the worst.
Wow.
I'm the greatest. Shut up, Punch and Noob Lord. No one wants to hear from you. Cheer is here as well.
Hey, what's up?
Punch a Noob Lord. Where'd you come up with that one?
I was apparently drunk at work, according to you guys.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You were.
it was obvious. Well, we can't say you were drunk at work officially.
This is how much wine I have left for this entire podcast. What's the timer on this? Can I do like a timer? Like at this point, we're gonna start arguing about something. Days is here too.
You need a wax marker for that. The wax.
Wax, yeah.
The little wax marker. Come on.
You know what else we're gonna wax? Some ass in Bronze Boot Camp Smackdown Edition.
That sounds so disgusting.
Bronze boot camp.
Or wait, Battle Arena Smackdown Edition.
There we go.
For all those out there who have been looking for the signups for that, I've had lots of people message me. I just got the last of the people to sign up. The last of the Platinum and Diamonds have finally signed up. The spreadsheet is all taken care of. I'm going to email them once again and make sure that everything is all set and happy. Right now, we are shooting for March 28th. Is that the date? I'm going to pull up my calendar here and look. No,
yeah.
Yes, that's it.
So we got all the staff and everything. Now we just need the
People.
trainees.
I will be releasing the sign-up sheet for that on episode 238, which is Wednesday's episode. I just want to let you all know that if you listen to this now, that sign-up sheet is coming. It will be a first-come, first-serve. I've already had a couple of people donate, want to get in, people emailing me. I only have room for 10 people total, and I understand it's a very small number compared to the number of listeners we have. Like, it's literally a drop in the bucket, and I apologize for that, but this is like one of those test run things where I'm going to have 2 groups going. I'm going to make sure everything's going right, and then as we are able to expand and we are able to work on the infrastructure, we'll have more and more of those as time goes on. But I just want to make sure it runs correctly the first time, because we want to get you. I mean, you're only paying $5-10 or whatever. We just want to make sure you get your money's worth for it. And if for those out there who don't know, I'll give a quick rundown. Battle Arena Smackdown Editions, where we have 10 Platinum and Diamonds on each team, or rather, I guess I should say each team. We have 5 Platinum and Diamonds playing the game and 5 Platinum and Diamonds that are reviewing the game at the same time. They're all watching one lane or playing in one lane, and they will give that single person feedback from 2 different perspectives, from a spectate perspective and a playing perspective. Plus, you'll get the shoutcaster's perspective of the game. And you all sit down and teamspeak after the fact and talk about everything you had. You'll get the replay of the game. You'll get the timestamps, and you'll be able to really replay from a Platinum and Diamond perspective what you could have done better throughout the course of it'll be like 2 games that night. We're not going to play just 1.
This is an amazing way to analyze your plays. So take everything with a grain of salt and make sure you just analyze and listen to all the commentary and be open about it. Be open about everything that they're saying. Don't try to shut down because pride gets in the way or anything. And don't just do this for, hey, it's going to be fun. Yeah, they're watching me. Yeah. No, something's going to happen. They're going to talk about something. You might go, pshaw, but actually think about it a bit. And you know what? I will try that and just get the most you can out of it, because that is awesome. I'd love to be able to have that opportunity to have a bunch of people comment on my particular play, even if it seems nitpicky, little things here and there, so you can improve,
Well, a lot of the comments for the lane phase in particular are nitpicky because the lane phase is so volatile.
Right,
and
it
so many little
though.
things go into it. So if it seems like nitpicking, it kind of is, but it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary.
Right.
I have been saying I've been playing a lot more solo queue this season than I have. Well, I didn't play like solo queue at all last season. I've been playing a lot more solo queue to push hard this season, and something that I've noticed between, we'll say, low plat and high plat, for example, is there are less mistakes made, but every time you make a mistake, it's punished way harder than it is in any other elo. And that's something we're trying to teach you guys, is like, if you make one mistake, you are fucked for the rest of the game because you screwed up.
That's all it takes is getting out of position like one time in lane, and you can give up a kill or double kill, and then you come back and you have to play passive the rest of the time and hope that they fuck up, because it's really, really easy once you see those mistakes over and over to capitalize on them. And all it takes is that one time, and it's like, oh my god, I just lost lane. And as soon as you do it, you're like, shit.
Yeah, that happens all the time in bot lane, where you don't get back soon enough when the other side gets level 2, and then you can lose the lane right there, just by not getting back and respecting their level 2.
Right. Yeah, that's why people push so hard. I think that's something that I really try to push. We've been playing a lot of in-houses, by the way. Join TeamSpeak, ts.trinityforcepodcast.com. Take that server in. And a lot of things that I think people need to realize is, well, bottom lane specifically, and pretty much any lane, really, is level 2 is such a big power spike in this game, and people push for it so hard. And if you don't respect it, you're going to get blown up. And if you're playing against that, if you're playing against Punchinello's ADC, he's going to take advantage of you.
Now, you know what they were saying before, you're making a comment where Adam, he was saying you're fucked. Adam was saying you're screwed if you do something. And Dave's was saying, switch, all of a sudden you're playing passive. And it really does suck, but it doesn't mean surrender. It's over. No. There's nothing you can do.
Never surrender.
You can, exactly. Never surrender. You can come back if you play intelligently. And hopefully some of the analysis will give you some pointers like, okay, look, this is what happened. Here's the best way out of it. We've always said if you're ahead, build offensive. If you're behind, build defensively and play similarly. That can help you if you just use that in your mindset. Like, how am I going? Okay, I'm sucking. All right, build a little bit more defense and play safer. Things like that.
The other good thing about it is that as you get punished for your mistakes, you're going to recognize them for mistakes. And when you see other people do them, you'll know to capitalize on them. And then you'll force them to be passive and have to change their play style. So it's not just about like learning what you're doing wrong. Like eliminating your mistakes is a huge thing to getting better in solo queue or in the game in general, but also like learning to punish other people when they make those mistakes will help you climb tremendously.
Oh yeah,
that's a really, really good point, because whenever I played Ziggs and someone else played Syndra, she would always kick my ass. I didn't know why. And then I started playing Syndra, and I was like, oh, that's what I can do. And then I would, every time I saw Ziggs, I would go, ooh, I've been in his shoes before. So, and then you can capitalize on it. It's a good point.
That exact scenario played out when I was playing Lissandra into Zz'rot and got crushed, and then 2 games later I played Zz'rot into Lissandra and did the exact same thing to somebody else.
You learned.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you'll learn here. Maybe you're being too aggressive, maybe not being aggressive enough, maybe you misstep somewhere, and the missteps happen. We screw up as we play the game. So this long-winded PSA about how to play the game better brought to you by Battle Arena Smackdown, which that information is coming here shortly. Other than that, yeah, TeamSpeak, ts.trinityforcepodcast.com. Go ahead and join that server. We sit in the server pretty much. It fills up to be about 30 people around 8 o'clock Eastern time at night. It can get a little higher, a little lower, depending on the day. People sit on there on the weekends, on Sundays and Saturdays, and they talk about the LCS games, and they just make fun of, like, the TSM game. You should have heard the TSM, what was it? TSM, TL?
Liquid.
Team Liquid game. Oh, but, yeah, TeamSpeak.
TeamSpeak? Yeah, it's fun to watch and chat with people in the community while you're watching the LCS games. Too bad I'm at work during most of them, but Thursdays I'm going to hop in.
Quickly, we're going to run down here. We did have a few donations that came in, and then we're going to get into listener questions. First and foremost, we had a $25 donation come in from Michael. He says, great podcast. Just found you guys and I'm enjoying the show immensely. Would love to get on the Battle Arena Smackdown Edition. Michael,
Thanks,
you make sure you ping me again here in the next week. We'll make sure you get in there. $100 came in from Shale86. He says, here's to help your dreams come alive. Don't read after this line. Okay. I will continue reading after that line live on the show.
Well, thank you. That's awesome.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Yeah, we really
thank you
appreciate
so much,
it.
guys.
And every donate that you guys bring, trinityforcepodcast.com/donate. Speaking of, those donations are going for, because we are going to be doing a URL switch here in the next month. Like I said, hopefully soft launch of the new site comes in the very end of March. That's what we're shooting for. At that time, we'll be switching everything over to TForce Network. I already have all of the names reserved. TForce Podcast will still be out there. However, I'll redirect you to TForce Network. You may have noticed that the Reddit is also the TForce Network. That does not mean the Trinity Force Podcast will be changing names. It just means that we have a hub for everything, because as you can tell, we have more than one podcast. If you were looking for the Four Wards podcast, by the way, we're like 2.5 weeks out from getting that podcast ready to go. So
Can't wait to watch that.
I know I know it seems like it's just taken a while, but we want to do it right the very first time that we do it. So that seems to be our motto: do it right the first time. So let's go ahead and move on here, and we will go right into listener questions. James writes in, I have a group of around 10 or so friends. Ooh, Dr. Laura question. I have a group of around 10 or so friends who play together. We range from bronze 3 to diamond 2, so the skill disparity is pretty large. AD carry has all been my main until we started playing with this other guy. Every lane with him is the worst lane ever. Even my diamond friend has lost lane with him while on one of his smurfs. The other day we played 3 games together. I played mid and top early and won my lane. However, each of the 3 games bot lane gave up first blood and lost a turret within 8 minutes. It's not uncommon for the random ADC team builder assigns to AFK or rage quit. And before he suggests roaming bot, that doesn't work. I'm no high at roaming, but when he's support, he will go in and he's coming out. He'll go in, coming out 1 to 12 times. So, sorry for the rant. Yes, trying to read that is kind of hard. I should probably, do something with it to make it easier. My question is, how do I make queuing with him and other friends more bearable? So you have that bottom lane who's feeding quite a bit. You think you're carrying your lane, or you may be carrying your lane. And how do you take care of it if you're playing with that one toxic friend?
Now,
has anybody had it?
Is he doing it on purpose, or is he just?
That's the thing about this, is never in here did he say this guy was toxic. I just take it as he's really bad, and it makes it hard to win, and losing isn't always fun. That's how I took this. I didn't see anything about him being toxic.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about it 2 different ways. If he's toxic, you have to talk to either talk to him or talk to the friend who is friends with him.
Yeah, that's straight intervention time.
And that's the easiest way to answer this. You got to talk to the dude. If he's straight up toxic, he's like, oh, son of a bitch, fuck this, blah, 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 screw that, yelling at you, you're bad. You got to talk to him and tell him this can't happen, and we're done. Like, that's the long and the short of the answer. There's no beating around this bush.
This is a game I play to have fun, and I don't have fun when you're in that game, so I'm sorry, I'm not playing with you.
Now, on the other hand, where I agree with what Day said here is, does he seem toxic? No. Maybe he's just really bad at support. Maybe he's not getting propped up correctly. Maybe he's going against 2 skill of opponents. Maybe he needs to be playing against those bronze opponents. Maybe he needs to join bronze boot camp on the Saturdays. You can suggest things like this to him. Let's get those diamond friends out of this game, and let's play with people all our level and see how you fare then.
Like, how long has this dude been playing, too? Because if he's been playing for 6 months, that's different than if he's been playing for 2.5 years and he's still going ridiculous KDA in deaths every game.
Right. If he's an inexperienced player, grouping up with a diamond is not helping the matter because
right
as said before, they tend to skew your MMR higher when you've got a higher MMR person on your team because they assume that person's going to carry the game. So
they average out the MMR.
Odds are he's getting placed against pretty good players in the bot lane.
Hell,
and that's probably why he's getting.
When you're bronze 5 is still a big skill jump.
Yep,
so
that's true. I mean, it just sounds like he needs. Yeah, he needs to play with people more around his skill level so he can learn the things that you're trying to do, like roaming bot lane or teleporting bot lane for ganks. That's the right idea, but he needs to learn how to play with that. Right now, you say that he's going in too soon. He needs to learn when to go in. He needs to learn how to follow up on that gank.
Yeah, this is going to be a situation where if there's the toxicity factor, you're going to have to do the intervention. If he's just really bad, there may need to be some serious hand-holding until he's up to the level of some of the other people that are queuing with you.
Yeah, well, and if he's getting destroyed, like we've said before, you teleporting bottom, but if he doesn't know how to come in and help you out, it's a 2v fed 2, and you're going to lose anyway. So snowball the mid lane or your top lane, snowball whatever's winning, and then you can probably carry the game that way.
Well, I don't know. I started out really, really bad at this game. Like, I was terrible at this game when I started. And when I was like level 25, I joined a community to try to get better. And the very first game of support that I ever played, I got stuck in. And it was like a community in-house, and we were diamonds and plats, and I was level like 25. I didn't even have all my runes. And it was my first experience ever playing Sona. And we had a plat back before they had diamond. So it was all like, yeah, I guess it wasn't plats and diamonds, but what would be plats and diamonds now? And there was a TF mid lane who literally, every time his ult was up, just TP'd to my lane and killed me. And I didn't even know what TF did. And I literally had 25 deaths by the end of that game. And it's not like I was trying to feed or trolling. Like, I just had no clue what was going on in the game. And if all of my friends at that point had just been like, you know what, you're just really bad, go play with people at your skill level, I probably would have been really discouraged and maybe stopped playing the game, or at least wouldn't have had the drive to get better. And instead people were like, oh, this is what you can do. This is how you can do this. And, you know, just be really encouraging. And if you want those other experiences where you're going to have a little bit more of a chance to win, or you can take it a little bit more seriously, then that's maybe when you queue by yourself or queue with people of your skill level or go play ranked or something like that. But let's just say hypothetically that you're this bronze 3 that you're writing about, where you have between bronze 3 and diamond 2. To those diamond 2 players, your skill level is probably equivalent of what you're thinking this guy is to your skill level. So, you know, these diamonds are probably seeing a ton of mistakes that you're making. They're probably get frustrated with some of the plays that you make, and they're playing with you to have fun, and you're going to learn from it. And I'm not saying you are this bronze 3, but for this bronze 3 in this situation, it's the same type of thing. So there are situations, and while you should encourage him to get involved in things like bronze boot camp and other ways to improve and prop him up, at the same time, you have to be considerate of the fact that, you know, you're probably not Faker, and you're going to be making mistakes too. So just be cognizant of the fact that he's probably trying to get better, and it just takes time. It really does. And
if he is a good dude and you just decide to shit on him because he's not playing that well, he's not going to get any better by not playing.
You know, you're part of this community now, James. Go ahead and just join the TeamSpeak, join the Game Chat channel, join the Reddit, talk to us. You've already emailed us. You've taken the first step here. And this goes for anybody else out there. I want to say, when we read these questions, if you have a similar situation, or you were thinking about getting in the community and this happens to you, keep this in mind that, you know, you need to speak up and say, listen, I'm not good at this game, or listen, my buddy's not good at this game and I need to fix it for him. And that's the first step to getting better is admitting you're not good. We said that in the past. And
yep.
Don't take that the wrong way. It's just really, it's the first step to getting better is admitting you have a problem, and the problem is you lack some kind of skill in the game.
Leagueaholics Anonymous.
Well, we'll go ahead and move on to Nathan's question here, so it's a little more meta of a question. Nathan, I play a ton of top lane and Jayce. Once it hits mid-game where I have taken down the tower and my lane opponent, I often get confused on what to do. Sometimes I roam, but when I lose XP and farm, sometimes I just sit in lane, but the other lanes lose help from me. I don't really know what to do.
That's that awkward mid-game. That's that awkward transition after you blow up that tower. And it's situational, depending on what's going on in your team. Yep. Usually you'll want to... Well, it depends. Let's say they have an Nasus. You don't want to let him free farm top, but you still want to use influence. I would suggest teleport, although ignite on Jayce is really good. I still can't not have teleport when I play top because I like to influence the rest of the map.
The other thing with Jayce as well is you're such a powerful poker.
Right.
Once you take the turret, there's no reason not to just join the team and siege down other turrets, because you can knock people off them or whittle them down until you can all in them, as long as your team's, at or ahead of the enemy.
Yeah, I agree with that. To play to Jayce's strength, and that is sieging turrets. And if they do have somebody top lane that wants to farm all day, and you can get your team to group up mid and then start taking turrets, and that's going to punish them because you can take more objectives and snowball for your team.
So part of this, I think, comes down to, from a top laner's perspective, especially a Jayce. So Jayce can roam fairly easily with his E. You can pop an E from top and break it down to mid and have your E just about back up by the time you're ready to gank. But perhaps something that you need to work on, Nathan, or other people need to work on, is your map awareness from top lane. And that's, is it actually worth my time to roam down to the mid lane? Am I going to get anything out of this roam? Has my mid lane just backed? Has my mid lane walked a dragon? What am I doing at that point? Ask yourself, what am I doing if I roam mid? Am I just taking his farm and then nothing's happening? I should have stayed top and pushed the lane out. Now, if we're assuming mid lane, you should be upgrading that trinket, that sight trinket, into the vision trinket, and get those get the extra wards to be able to start pumping out your vision wards, or sight wards. And you should also, if you can't do that, you should be buying green wards, as many as you can, and pinks, and warding up the entire side of your jungle and just split pushing for days. I know we've advocated against it in the past, but really at this point, if it's mid-game, you're stomping that hard, it's not bad. It's not a bad idea to split push. And then
as long as you're not dying for it.
As long as you're not dying, and as you're split pushing, if you see people coming to you, even if you see that enemy laner coming to you, it may behoove you to back off and start heading to mid lane at that point. Now, this is where it is trial and error. You have to understand why you're doing it, and it's not something I can really teach you without showing you in game and showing you certain scenarios, but just like the general matter of the fact is, if I'm split pushing and I see that my top laner is coming to me through the jungle, I'm going to assume somebody else is with him at that point, because no top laner that I'm stomping on is just going to make a beeline straight for me, so I should back off.
Yep. Keep an eye on the minimap. Have map awareness when you split push.
It's all about making the best use of the time that you have. And I forget which pro said it, but it was like every second that you're not making gold is like one step closer to you losing the game. So you just have to evaluate, like, is there something that useful that you can be doing, and how can you influence the map the most? So if you can do that by pressuring top because everywhere else is succeeding well, then that's what you should be doing. But if you can roam, or if you can take an objective, then it's all those split-second decisions. But you should always have a goal. As long as you have a goal and have a reasoning behind what you're doing, you should be okay.
Hey, and if you have that goal and you have that reasoning and it ends up being wrong, then you know how to fix it for the next time that you play the game.
That's right.
What would you do in a situation where you stomp the top, or you got your turret down, and your mid laner is he's being camped by the jungler and he's just getting his butt kicked? Would that influence your decision to help him, or would you continue pushing at that time? Because if you split push, it's not really going to help if your mid map is pushed in your direction.
That question is a hard one to answer without knowing the specifics of the enemy
without
team
knowing
and your team.
Right, without knowing the team matchups, without knowing whether your bottom lane is ahead or not, whether you or not Dragon is up at the time. Like, there's so
who
many...
the junglers are. Like, there's too much. That's something that, like, if you're having specific situations like that you're having problems with, you probably should just have someone analyze your replay, because there's so many factors and different things that occur that affect that decision making that you really not only need to know what you should do, but why you should be doing it. And like in that situation, you don't know, like if you go help your mid lane, are they so far ahead that you go help and then you give the enemy laner double kill, or there's just so much going on that sometimes having someone else look at it is really a good option for getting better.
Because there could have been a point earlier in the game before you took the tower that you could have roamed and helped your mid laner out. That's something that people forget, is that there are points as the top laner that, like, if I play top lane, you've ever played against me in top lane, Zz'rot can attest to this, I push and push and push and push and push. Like, I keep you at your turret, I try to keep control of the lane, and any time that I have you push to your turret, you probably know that I'm going to roam somewhere. I think I've been caught out by Frown and had to, book it, hightail it out of there, walking into the enemy jungle to try to pick off a jungler or something. Or
you'll even like go down to do something, see something's not there, and then come back to lane in kind of a weird direction to try and get behind me to flank me and trade some extra damage into me, or just any little thing to get an advantage if you've shoved me or anybody else to turret, and they're just going to farm at turret because early in the game, realistically, you're probably not going to be able to get free pot shots off on that turret without taking some hits in the meantime.
If you're Jayce, we're assuming you're winning the lane. You're assuming you're pushing. That's the same thing. You have such high mobility with Jayce with his extra move speed and his R and his E that you're able to roam in the jungle and ward up. You can go walk into the jungle and put a ward at their red when it spawns, and then be ready to go stop that jungler. There's a lot of things that you can do in the game where you can affect the outcome of the game if you just have good game sense and good map awareness, and that's really just comes down to understanding timers, because when you understand timers, you understand what the jungler's at. When you understand what the jungler's at, you understand what he's doing, and you see how it's a ripple effect of everything that you learn how to play this game.
That's a real good point. You're talking about you don't know what to do, you're unsure. Well, if you don't have vision, you're going to be unsure. If you don't quite know the timers or the timing, when in doubt, just go ahead and deep ward a little bit, and now you'll have vision, and maybe something will come to you. You'll see a jungler, but okay, I should go over here now because he's over here. It'll enable your decisions. It'll help push you towards what you should be doing if you have the vision. Because if you don't have the vision, you're going to sit there, I don't know what to do.
Another option you have in that vein is the top scuttle crab, which I don't see a lot of people take enough. If you're pushed up, go take that. It gives you vision. It's free gold. It's a
I was
good
about to
objective to take. Not a lot of top laners take that for some reason.
Does E on Jayce? Does E's hammer form
No.
knock down the armor?
No. It has to be
Disable
like a
or
stun.
knock out
It's a stun or a knock up, not the knockback. I don't think the knockback counts because it's not technically like a stun or anything.
Right.
I think it does because it triggers Yasuo's ultimate.
But Yasuo's ultimate's not triggered
mechanics.
by a. I
don't
don't know.
I haven't played Jayce in the top.
You're right, because Yasuo
anything,
is in the air. It doesn't specify knock up or anything. I don't know how the Scuttle Crabs thing works. We should, one of you in the community, go out and find out for us.
Anyway, sorry, Chair,
us
to
know.
interrupt you. I just wanted to be curious because he was talking about the crab, and we were talking specifically.
Yeah, no,
about Jayce,
the crab is effectively one less ward you have to buy for your lane for a specific amount of time, or a ward you can sit on until the crab's gone for the river area. That's huge. You know,
And the speed
it blows
And-
my
yeah, the
mind
speed
when
trine, too.
Help you
yeah,
roam.
yeah. It blows my mind when that thing's sitting up and one person has somebody else completely shoved. It's like you would rather shove them to turret and then wait around for them to shove back rather than go take something that's free and will give you money and a vision advantage. As well as a potential route of escape if stuff goes wrong and you get ganked through lane.
Oh yeah, that speed shrine is amazing. How often? Speaking of that crab days, how often, or in Punch too? How often are you guys going up and grabbing that crab if you have the lane pushed?
Not enough. It's definitely
Almost never as a bot laner.
Yeah,
I've
but-
definitely noticed the junglers are taking it earlier too. It's
Junglers get more money for taking it.
yeah. It's a
So
pretty
if
decent
your jungler's
chunk
there,
of
let him
gold.
take it.
Yeah.
Usually in the bot lane, when you've got them pushed up, you're trying to siege someone to their turret because you have the range to do so. But it's something
Yeah.
that I should probably start thinking about. It's an opportunity that I should, try to recognize to go take that.
I think that you can still. I was actually just talking with my duo about it today because we're trying to figure out how to like carry games hot and things like that. And that was one of the techniques that we came up with because and I play Sona. Like the ideal place for them to be for me is to be under tower because I can poke them and I don't get tower aggro and they can't hit me. It's great. But taking that Scuttle Crab only takes like, I don't know. You can do it in the time that they push the wave back to middle. And then it's up for a while and it doesn't spawn again for a while. So it's not like it would really affect your siege, I don't think. I don't think it would really affect your lane pressure at all. I think that it would just give you another objective to take. And it would help give you that vision and give you a little bit more, especially if you're pushed up to tower the whole time. I mean, that's a pretty dangerous position, especially with the mobility that the junglers have in the game right about now.
As long as your carry's on the same page, because as support, you're not going to kill that thing.
Right.
It's not like a solo.
Well,
it's true.
especially too if an enemy
Right.
top laner's teleports up. How many times have you pushed somebody up the turret and they have a ward somewhere in one of the brush down alongst the edge of the map? If you're pushing them up on a turret and teleports up, you're putting yourself in a bad position as well. So, I mean, that's not as big as most first teleports just end up
Can
be
I
in a
rant
situation
for
to get back
moment,
to
or
lane.
Can I bring someone out here to the
Real
to the-
quick, you can.
Go
I
ahead.
just want to make one more thing. Top lane, talking about killing Scuttle Crab as top lane. Sion, I like to lead the Scuttle Crab up, and I like to ward the Scuttle Crab. So I just like to use the Scuttle Crab for my E for the extra range, because you can use him when you're chasing people down there. So just a little strategy if you're doing well enough where you can chase someone down the river. You can use the Scuttle Crab with Sion Z.
That's a funny little Sion tip because a lot of times in team fights when we're on Dragon, I try to look for the Scuttle Crab as Sion so I can kick it into the enemy
There you
team
go.
to get some
Slow him down a little bit,
slows and damage, right? But no, I want to do like a quick rant, quick soapbox, whatever. I was actually really hoping I could pull out the tinfoil hat tonight, but I don't have any like that kind of stuff. Oh, damn it! I know. I got one. I actually have one
from the
ready.
wine bottle.
So, yeah, hold on.
And then rant. Put on your southern accent.
So
It's going to be a good rant when he has to drink wine
Let's-
first.
there's something that bottom lanes don't do enough in the lower elo bottom lanes, and that's ward deep. When they're being pushed up, they don't ward deep. They don't take that little extra time to go push. There is a, for the most part, I'll say 85% of the time, there is that 15% where you're just getting fucking stomped, right?
Yep.
But there's times where you're able to walk up because laners reset, and you could drop a ward right in that bush, then walk back and be safe again. And I'm saying this as a top lane perspective. I will ping and ping and ping. Put a ward here. Put a ward here. Put a ward here because I want to teleport to you. If I get 6,
Yes.
I want to teleport gank as soon as I hit 6. I'm hitting 6 before you are as bottom laners, and I'm hitting 6 at the same time as my mid laners are, or just after my mid laner is.
And,
you know.
and let's say the other top laner burned their teleport for something. If you're losing the bottom lane and you can turn the fight into a 3v2, there are a few situations that are better to catch you back up to where the enemy bottom lane is than that double kill turnaround.
Right.
And if in bottom lane you're stuck at your turret and you don't have a ward out, then it's too late by that point. I mean, the ideal time to ward the bush is as you're getting pushed back, as you lose control of the bush. Like, so let's just say that their support enters the bush, you have to back off. That's when you want to ward it, because you've lost control, you have to back off. And you won't get an opportunity to get into that bush again because they're pushing up.
And you maximize the time on that ward, because if you just ward it while you're already pushing them, it's kind of useless.
That too.
For, like, in bottom laner's defense, if that's something you're expecting, you should communicate that, because most supports do not start with a ward early. So you each have a trinket, and that will give you 100% vision of river if you and the ADC alternate that and coordinate that well. But you don't have an extra ward to just throw, especially if you're pushed to your tower. Your biggest concern is usually either the river bush or your tri bush or whatever they're going to gank you at. So if you're going to be dropping it into that lane bush, then it's not a bad thing to just say it like before you need it. Just be like, hey, drop a ward, I'm going to TP to you.
But
I think it more applies after first. Back.
These ganks aren't coming in at level 2 or 3. These ganks are coming in at like post 6 at 7 around the time somebody has a sight stone.
Jayce does have a good point here in the fact that you will, a lot of them don't start with ward, or if you do, you might start with 1 extra ward so you can have that extra vision so you can push really hard during that time. You're getting that 1,500 gold for your AD carry, so you have that little extra time in lane. But I'm more or less talking about that time, because realistically, people are going back. Someone's going back before 6. Someone is in one of the 2 lanes. If you're winning, you're not going back, and if they're losing, you're probably going back, or you're staying there and losing farm. With that said, it's more of it that if you go back after 6 and you're still having the laning phase going, you should expect your top laner to join you, even if you are 6 or you're 5, and you should have that ward ready for your top laner. Assuming you can. It's more or less, I've seen so many games where players, I know they can ward, I know they have a ward up, and they're just not doing it because they're trying to save that ward for reasons. And the reasons are that they can't make it out because they feel like they're so pressured under their turret that they can't. This goes off another day's rant where you can leave, you don't have to babysit the AD carry. He's not your little fucking baby, you don't have to sit by his side and cradle him and feed him his bottle. You can walk off and ward for half a second. Tell the dude, warding. And just walk and ping where you're warding and go do it. There's just so many little things that you just kind of irk me. And I'm not trying to say this as if I'm like God's gift to man. Lord knows I fucked up this entire week. And if you watch me play solo queue, I've been screwing up left and right. But I'm just saying, like, little things like that irk me as much as people getting irked that I flashed dove a Vladimir at level 200 tower and died.
This whole situation,
that was hilarious.
I'm more complaining about when somebody picks up a sight stone. And then they don't have an excuse.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much where I'm going with this. Yeah.
What the worst case is in solo queue, where you don't ward that lane bush, or you do ward that lane bush, and top never teleports or never says anything. He's teleporting back to his lane every single time it's up.
And
where it's
here's though. If you communicate, if top communicates,
communicate it.
And then there's no excuse for support not to be able to do it. And then if the support communicates and be like, hey, I'm gonna ward here, just so you know, you could TP the next time they push up. Like, if you guys communicate, it just makes it a little bit easier to have that teamwork in solo queue.
And here's also a news flash for top laners. If you end up getting a first blood or an early kill on somebody, and you back right afterwards, and the enemy teleports back up, you don't have to immediately burn teleport to get back the lane. You can run up there, go kick his ass again, because he's going to get... You're probably still ahead of him in XP because he died, and then you probably push the rest of your wave as you backed. But by the time you get back there, if you still have the advantage and you can kill him again, you can immediately shove it to the turret, get rid of all that XP, and then immediately teleport somewhere else and make moves happen another place. I have a gripe against people. Like, don't get me wrong, it can be hard to carry out a top lane sometimes, but if you're just, if you're using that teleport every chance you get to get back the lane whenever, you're throwing away an advantage. You're throwing away your strength that you already built up in your lane to go influence the rest of the map and get the rest of your team snowballing.
In the beginning, it's okay because you can have an advantage. You can get an item real quick, get back to lane, and continue pressuring, maybe grab some pots, and then push them out of lane.
Assuming you haven't pushed the lane up. We have to use that caveat. If you push the lane
but if
to
they're
the turret,
pushing on you, if they're pushing on you, and you're deciding, do I run back or teleport back? Well, yeah, you want to save damage to your turret as long as you don't have to worry about dragon, unless you're willing to trade top for dragon, things like that. So there's a lot of decision making.
One of my favorite things is if you're able to get a kill off and shove the wave to their turret by the time they teleport back and you're backed, in the time it takes you to run back to your turret is right when that fat wave is meeting you back at the turret and you get all that XP.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And then you can freeze it.
Yep, because you already have the advantage there.
That's what I like to do when I'm playing top lane. I like to keep in mind, or I like to try to get a teleport advantage, where I know, all right, I've got teleport up, I can use it to go to dragon, I can use it to gank, and my fellow top laner can't follow me. So it's another advantage I'm trying to look for in top lane is to have my teleport off cooldown while his is not.
And if you can make those, if you can make those 3v2 ganks happen, and the enemy top laner cannot, can't do anything to get there, that's so big. This whole conversation comes full circle. If you can build an advantage, why wouldn't you want to spread that advantage to somewhere else rather than just stay in your little corner of the map?
And why wouldn't you want to set it up so others can use their, the power they have or spikes or whatever it is? Because this is what I'm going to say. Sorry, Chira, is that another? This is Adam's soapbox episode because it's shit. I played so much fucking solo queue this weekend, and I've seen everything from, like I said, from me fucking up to the team just not responding quickly enough. And that's if your jungler is being attacked in his jungle on your side of the map, no matter who the fuck you are, you need to be responding to him. Yeah. You need to leave your lane immediately and go respond to that jungler because that kill and assist more than makes up for that CS that you lost because of the map pressure that you now have because you killed the enemy jungler and potentially mid lane if they also responded. So,
but think about it. If you're gonna if your gank fails and because you're not there, the enemy pushes in and gets like half your turret's health down, it wasn't worth it. So you got to analyze how your lane's going. If they're kind of kicking your butt. Wait for them to go back.
There's scenarios where you can't move. Absolutely.
Right. So you got to analyze that.
Yeah, but in most cases you can. I mean, getting...
Don't just say when in doubt, teleport gank.
Yeah, like you'll learn through trial and error that way.
If you can put the enemy jungler behind early, it's one of the best things that you can do for your team.
Right.
It just in terms of dragon control, in terms of like his ganking potential, like everything.
And I will say... it is just as frustrating to go in for what seems like it's going to be an almost guaranteed kill on the enemy jungler, just to have everything thwarted because somebody else showed up, and then you just spent all that time in the enemy jungle trying to do something and you didn't really get anything out of it. That can be just as frustrating as dying. So it's one of those like mind game sort of situations. If you can thwart those ganks multiple times, let's just say it happens that way, that can get in the head of the enemy jungler as well. So I don't know. Coming from a jungler's perspective, I hate it when people just continue doing their little thing and are completely oblivious to their laners making moves. And you can't, if you get behind, you can't help anybody else out. And it's just one of those things like when they start yelling at you because you've been getting invaded, it's like, well, I'm only in this position because you didn't want to help me out. I can't help you out. It's like
a Nasus who's let me just farm, man. Why are you dying?
That's why I love season 2 though. It's like leave me alone. I'm top lane. I'm a season 2 top lane baby where it was leave me alone for 20 minutes. I have Heart of Gold and Follow Stone. I'm farming. I'll come to the fight. I have my stuff.
That used to be the same thing out of jungle. Build, Jarvan with 4 Heart of Golds don't appear anywhere on the map until the 30-minute mark, and then pop out full build and crush everybody, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Was it you earlier today who was? I was complaining about some
Rumble.
People. No, I was complaining about some people not punishing me properly. I was actually complaining that players aren't punishing me when I'm playing the game. And you're like, because I said, what I said to Chira, I said Jarvan should be using his EQ and his cataclysm to save his team sometimes and not always engaging. And he goes, what? Jarvan's not always chest bumping the 80 carries? Adam made a comment. He's like, yeah, you can't do that if a good player is peeling for their team or whatever. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but every Jarvan that I see just goes balls to the walls for squishies all game long.
But it's
Chest
just
That sounds
bump AD
accurate.
carry.
chest bump him to death, baby.
Nobody could please Adam this weekend. Like there was no one on either team that was gonna make Adam's cut this
God,
weekend.
no, I did not have a good weekend. I'm sorry. Days you complained about it
I didn't
too.
either.
We
I didn't. It was terrible. Adam and I
But they
did
have
not queue together. Like keep in mind, we did not do. Both of us started the weekend in Plat 3 and ended in Plat 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we never played
It was
each other
not a
once
good weekend.
either.
Never. It was not a good weekend.
By not playing, I think I gained ground.
Yeah, you did. I know. There's like this. Well, Declawed, where are you at? Plat 5 right now?
Yeah, Plat 5.
Okay,
I
Fury,
lost
you're
3
in Gold 1, right?
Too,
Yeah,
it was a
yeah.
bad weekend.
I did win 4 games in a row though, and I ate an entire bag of Reese's eggs while I was doing it, so I can't complain
my God.
whatsoever.
So he's telling me about how he ate all of his Reese's eggs, but he left one for a rainy day, and he's like, by rainy day, I mean like 3 hours from now. And then literally 15
I needed
minutes
it
later,
too.
he messages me, and he goes, I made such a big mistake. I am having the biggest sugar crash right now. In the middle of a freaking ranked game. He's like, I don't know what to do.
I needed a cup of coffee real bad.
Oh
in the
my
middle of that
god,
game.
this is the best. I'm dying. No, it's okay. So it's great. So where are we at? We're on the rush to the race to diamond right now between 4 hosts because Chira's just taking a sweet ass time as he.
You know what? I'm gonna go.
He's the tortoise.
Yeah,
He's the
I'm
tortoise.
straight up
Come
the
at the end.
tortoise. I don't. To be honest, I just don't care at all. It's
Okay.
gonna be great.
So I want everybody out there who's paying attention. As of episode 237, Punchinello is ahead because Days and Pode fell behind.
Yeah, we totally bombed this weekend. It was bad.
If I keep not playing, I could take the lead.
That's
I can
how you
keep
win.
The lead.
That's all you have to do.
Just keep
'cause
doing what
we're
you're
gonna
doing,
end up
Punch.
having
Keep doing what you're
gold.
All right.
Keep doing what you're not doing.
Oh my god. It's either the wine or the fucking heat. One of these two is getting to me.
It's the wine.
Yeah, something. All right, fuck. I need a second. Hold on.
Deep breaths.
Stop
No sugar
highlighting that
wine, that'll
question.
help.
That question.
If it's the heat, you should probably get out of the corner of that room because it's 90 degrees. You know.
Ho-ho!
All right, so Corey writes in, and he wants to know about Sion. He wants to know about building Liandry's Torment on Sion because it applies spell damage and procs off his abilities. Tested. Well, of course, it procs off any ability use. It deals double damage and everything but his W. Building this helps against some very potent spell penetration to go with his magic damage. So, Corey, I'm going to start with this because I played a lot of Sion and I'll let Declawed take over at the fact. Granted, Declawed and I have 2 different builds for Sion. We both played both of them and we like what we like. It doesn't matter. They both serve the same purpose when it comes to the game. Thematically and team comp-wise, if you're building Liandry's Torment on Sion, I don't think that you are getting the most out of what Sion can do for you because you are delaying some power spike somewhere. And instead of building Liandry's in lane, you either can build a Hydra and do extra damage to really bully the person out because you'll smack him with an E, walk up to him and get him a couple smacks of the damage off. Or you can roam when you push the lane. Or you can build straight tank and just becomes that zoning bruiser that the AD carry can't get off of you. So you have to pick one of the two that you want to go. Just because an item synergizes with this kit like that doesn't mean it's the best item to pick up because you're not pulling your weight in a team fight. Or you're not pulling your weight in the mid game.
It does seem like it'd be great for the laning phase, but that's a lot of money on a single item to invest in just the laning phase. Because, as you said, it's the team fight we're going to have a problem.
That's what I was going to say. Punch brings up the point, hits the nail on the head there. I like where your mind's at. You know, you're thinking outside the box. You're looking around saying, hey, what are these? You're trying to innovate, which it happens. Static Shiv on Alistar, for example, that was so insane. Riot had to nerf or fix the bug on Alistar. Things like that. So I like where your mind's at, but think about it. Let's say you get the Liandrys and you're in a late game team fight. You know, you got that magic penetration. Maybe you go Sork Shoes or something to add to it. Whatever the case may be, you hit that E. It hits them. It's not going to do enough to really
It only hits one person, too.
impact.
Right.
Well, right, unless you hit a minion and then it hits them. And then, okay, so you hit a couple of people, but they burn a little bit with that double tiny tick of Liandry's. Yeah, you got them down maybe a 1/6 of their health, or maybe you really got all that AP and you got them down a 1/4 of their health. Holy crap. But now it's on cooldown, and you're in a team fight scenario. You're squishier. Sure, you have a little bit of HP from that thing, but you're squishier because you didn't build tank. You don't do anything with your Qs or your auto attacks, really. So you got to look at the big picture. And just like Punch said, it seems great. If you could buy it first item, yeah, that'd be awesome. Sure, it doesn't seem like it fits, but buy it first item, your laning phase is now awesome because you rely on that E so hard. But by the time you can afford Liandry's, laning phase will be over, and your advantage with that particular item and what you're thinking about is gone. So think about it that way. I do like where your mind's at, though, and keep trying different little things like that because that's kind of cool. But like Adam was saying, there's two specific builds that will help the most right now with Sion. Two ways to build: tanky, and then however you want to do it with tanky based on the enemy, and then tanky with something like a Hydra to help you split.
And if you wanted to do burn damage, you may as well just get an early Sunfire Cape and live forever and just continuously do the damage anyway.
You'll theoretically do more damage with
because
a Sunfire Cape.
You're gated by cooldowns with the Liandrys and doing the damage with it. Like if you're already building tanky and you're going to be in the fight a while, that Sunfire is going to be ticking a lot. So
something to keep in mind real quick when you're playing Sion on lane is that you don't need to make your laning phase any more powerful than it already is. I mean, besides picking up cooldown reduction or the Hydra or whatever it may be.
Your power is bullying and getting out of that laning phase.
Right.
Days.
Look, I am all for trying new builds and things like that and being aggressive in lane. Like, I don't think there's anything that I talk about more, but you have to think of like the overall end position and role that you want to fill for your team. And the most annoying thing I can think of for Sion, and the reason I hate playing against him and I think he's so strong, is that he never freaking dies. Like, he will stand on your face forever and do so much damage. You don't need the Liandrys for him to be such a powerhouse late game that you can't ignore him. You can't just let him walk through your back line, but he doesn't die. So if you build things like Liandry's, which doesn't give you that much health, and you don't get any resistances from it or anything, then yeah, you might do more damage, but you're not going to be able to do it for as long, and you're not going to have that disruptive, completely annoying, obnoxious displacement that he offers to your team.
That's good.
Right.
Okay. It doesn't, like you're saying, it's gated by cooldowns with that item.
Oh, yeah. And keep in mind that you need resistances to Sion, not health.
Oh, yeah.
Because you get health with your W. You just need resistances because you get enough health in your passive. And you can build health. It doesn't hurt you.
Still good. Yeah, more health.
It doesn't hurt you.
I mean, but yeah, I don't be discouraged by this. We're analyzing the item itself and why it wouldn't work, and then we're giving you some tools to help you think in innovative, different items. Think of the big picture, like Dave was saying. Think of the end game and why is this champion a good pick right now? Because he can do this. Okay, well, what item helps me do this better, or what set of items?
Have you considered Frozen Mallet? I hear they're building that in the LCS now. Seems like a pretty good idea.
One specific champion in one specific scenario.
Adam did build it once.
All right, here you go. You want to clip this for the fucking audio? Does everyone want to clip this and put this somewhere on Google Drive or something?
Fine, Adam. Here we go. Let loose.
No, I'll just say that Frozen Mallet on Gnar is the only time that Frozen Mallet is good, and only if you are ahead and you are playing offensively. You have to be playing offensively as Gnar for your team to make Frozen Mallet work.
Flip all of that except for... Get rid of everything except for Frozen Mallet is good, and then let's put it on somewhere.
Someone's going to do it, right? If you are playing Gnar and you're building a Frozen Mallet when you're behind, you are doing it incorrectly. You're playing Gnar and you're neutral and you're playing Frozen Mallet. It can work and it might not work. You have a case for both. And if you're ahead, it works really well. But it works really well for Gnar because it synergizes with his passive. He has a slow on his Q. He gets the extra slow off of Frozen Mallet. And he gets a speed up on his W, which means he gets more Ws off to do more damage. All of this synergizes with one item so well.
I was on the receiving end of Frozen Mallet Gnar.
From this guy!
And just from the percent health magic damage from his W procs, I couldn't reach him and he was just chunking me and it was really annoying.
To grab.
Yeah.
But based on what you actually made a good point there, Adam. If you're behind, don't build it. Same thing with I always preach Sion, rush Hydra, then go tanky. That way you just demolish your lane, and then you're that same late game tank as you would be before. But you have a Hydra through the laning phase and mid game split push. You have all those decisions and options available to you. But like with Frozen Mallet, if you're getting bullied for whatever reason, you're not playing Sion right, and you're getting your ass kicked by somebody, which shouldn't happen, then don't build that Hydra. Just go straight for your defensive build.
I was about to say, Sion's biggest thing right now, and I think I've talked to Adam about this, this is kind of the reason why I wasn't a huge fan of him, but I'm starting to come around. Sion's like an amazing pick against champions that need to kill you to snowball in lane to win out at the end of the game. That's exactly it. He's not going to die. Mind you, he's not exactly going to murder a lot of champion picks. There's a bunch of people that could potentially outduel him, but he's so safe to play, and he can farm really easily with his E damage and with his zone with Q and help with ganks if the jungler comes up, that he's safe. He's stupid safe, and he has kind of this giant safety net of, oh, I'm getting engaged on, well, I'm level 6, so I'm just going to run away really, really fast, and nobody's going to be able to stop me.
Or I'm going to W and walk away.
Or I'm going to W and walk away. And, like, I don't know. I've seen some awesome success with people picking him into Riven or Rengar or Lissandra, or just people who kind of bank on getting those early kills and then just punishing somebody for the rest of the time. He ain't that easy to kill, so you can kind of just, you know, do your thing and then wait until the team fights start and really, really shine, because they're not murdering you. If you play him right.
Just like anyone else, he can be easy to kill if you're just being overly aggressive or stupid, you don't ward, et cetera, et cetera. So keep that in mind. But again, back to the listener question, like where your mind's at. But for Liandry's, I know you've been playing it and trying it out, and it's kind of cool to see how it works, but look at the overall perspective in the late game. Like Daze was saying before, look at the big picture. Is it really worth it? Would you have spent better time getting another item and helping Snowball from the mid game? So,
Daze, I
like
you
the question.
The next question. Do you want to go ahead and read it and then
chat
about it?
I can. I was just, yeah. Alberta wrote in, would you guys buy the Zz'rot item? I like it and buy it because it's new, and I've noticed that it does not provide much to a team. Question, is the item a good idea for Hecarim to buy since its speed increases his attack? Would he theoretically be able to use this item to gain defense, MR, and attack? Would it be viable, or would the stat bonus from the movement speed simply not be worth it?
Well,
I seem to know a person that likes this item and likes Hecarim top.
Well, Adam also builds this item when he builds the wrong item and then decides that he can't sell back that item, so he just decides to go all the way with first buy Zz'rot.
No, I'm going to let Daze finish her thought here.
No, I mean, if you have experience with building this on Hecarim,
no, I don't. I don't at all. I will say, though, for a 6 item on Hecarim, not that bad, but go ahead.
Hecarim right now is in a really, really good place, especially in top lane. He's probably better out of top.
Stop. No.
What?
No, don't tell.
You're giving up a secret.
You're giving up my secret.
He's better out of top lane than he is out of jungle.
Damn it.
But he's so there's a couple things with this. One, he naturally has a lot of health regen from his E. I think it's Z, right?
It's his W.
It's his W. So he naturally has a lot of sustain from that. And a lot of the things, one of the great things about this item is that it has the health regen, and then it has the resistances that people like your support need, or a 6 item Hecarim or something like that. But it's not giving you enough early. Yeah, it's not giving you enough early, I feel, to really make that buy worth. Because you're also paying for the active, which you're not going to be able to use that early in the game. And Hecarim is actually, although he can be a really good split pusher, he's also great in team fights because of his W, his sustain, his Q's ridiculous, like his ultimate. Like, there are so many things he has going for him in a team fight that your goal should not be to only split push unless your team is way behind. And it also, in the situation, like he has, if you get Triforce on him, it's such an impactful thing for you to have, especially early, those mid-games fights. Like, that's what you should be rushing. It offers you way more for your overall kit than you could by getting that item first, which is more of a late game. The only time I've really seen that item built in general is late game, especially for split pushing. It's definitely not something you should be getting really early on anybody, in my opinion.
I guess
I built a second item on Maokai.
I was going to ask. I've seen you do that a few times, and you seem, I don't know how effective it is, but you seem to really enjoy it. Because they're constantly pointing it out, like, "Hey guys, look at my portal." It's
a fun item. It is a fun item.
It is fun, but think about it: the earlier you get it, the closer to the laning phase that you get the Zz'rot portal, where gold really matters, the every little edge advantage. You're kind of feeding your opponent gold, if you're using that active in lane. So you got to be cognizant. Later in the game, it doesn't matter. You're using it for the pressure and the side pushing where they're not going to be killing it, or you're using it to pressure turret, etc. In Siege, that's fine. But early in laning phase, where it's all about CSing and you're pumping extra easy to kill CS at them.
Right.
Pretty much so.
So with Zz'rot, what I've... Go ahead, I'll let you finish.
Sorry.
Sentence.
I was going to say the other thing about it is that it's naturally going to push your wave, and especially in top lane where positioning and lane management is really, really crucial. You don't want to be just shoving them to tower all the time for no reason. But that was all I had to say.
Yeah, no problem. So part of what I've noticed is, yes, you don't want to use it, like you guys are saying, in the laning phase. You don't want to drop it so that it's pushing against a wave. You want to drop it so it's continuously trying to hit a turret. What I like to build it is, like I said, I like to build on Maokai as second item, assuming that my team is not behind. If my team is even or ahead, I'll build it, because that Zz'rot portal, if you can rally your team properly, does that little bit of extra damage to a turret that you may be lacking when it comes down to that turret siege. How many times have you guys gone mid lane to the second tier turret and walked out with 200-300 life on the turret, not counting the shield? You know, I need more than my hands to count the number of times that we haven't been able to take down the second inner turret, you know, and we've had to wait to get back there. That is easy to do that. Now, you can't count on that. When I point out, you can never count on the Zz'rot to pick up that extra whatever damage it is, but it usually allows you for that. Now, if I build it second item on Maokai, it's because I'm winning the lane. I'm not afraid. I already have my Rod of Ages. Second item, I already have my Rod of Ages, so I have the life. And now I'm getting the free stats. And then I use it to help push down the turret by dropping it just in a bush or just outside the lane so that it's always hitting the turret, and the person has to make the decision: do I kill the minion for 5 gold, or do I kill the lane minion for 13 to 42 gold, depending on obviously the minion, what it is. They have to make the decision, and if they're not killing the minions are pushing down the tower faster than the actual lane minions are, so that allows you to push the tower really quickly. Now, this is one scenario, one time where the item is good. Going back to Hecarim, not good. Rush your Triforce, go right into defensive, get your Yumus, get your Black Cleaver, and 6th item, if you need something that's not Guardian Angel, Zz'rot's fantastic because it helps you push something down. But even then, as a 6th item, it's so late in the game, is Zz'rot really going to help you push that tower around? Because if you're on that tower, it's probably dying in 6 hits anyway.
This is another situation where, like, you have a nice train of thought. Like, you're thinking of the speed and how it works with his kit and things like that. You just got to think it through the rest of the way. And that's why Home Guards is so common on him right now, is because it gives you that extra speed, and you can TP Home Guard into people and just have ridiculous. Hecarim. Yeah, I mean, so that adding that movement speed into your buy and into your purchases is actually a good idea, but you just have to think through the rest of it and what it lacks in terms of what you need for your kit.
I've never bought a Zz'rot portal. Haven't bought one yet.
Really?
I bought one on Leona, but like we were way ahead.
I don't have any interest in buying Zz'rot portal. There's plenty of other items I like buying to help carry games.
I was thinking of getting a Zz'rot portal and a Guardian Angel armor on Pantheon as my only defensive items, and going pure ham offense on everything else. But I haven't tried it yet.
I was going to say, where are you getting the life from to back up all those stats?
Throw Warthogs in there, and that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, right. That's a Sion. That's why I said Sion, and I didn't say Sion, but I will say it now. Sion and Maokai, 2 champions, 100%. Absolutely. If I get the chance, I'm building Zz'rot on them.
I'll have to try it out.
Yeah, I think Sion, you could pick it up after your first. You could probably pick it up after your first offensive or defensive item again. To Claude and I.
After your Frozen Mallet, or not Mallet, Frozen Heart.
Yeah.
I like Randy's. I really do like Randy's on Sion. I love things that I can use in my passive. That's why I get Swifties with Fure on it, Swiftness Boots and Fure, because if I die, I stick to you, and I maximize the passive, and, worst case scenario, I die, I kill you. I have Randuin's. If I didn't use it in the fight for whatever reason, I can use it to slow you and stick to you. The Hydra, I can use it to get that one last hit when I'm not in range to punch you in my passive. But
I love Randuin's for that same reason. If you ult in and you just didn't happen to get a slow off on one of the people, you can always pop that Randuin's and just edge up a bit and grab somebody else too, so they're all slowed.
What was it? Something with Sion. If you press S while you're ulting, you get a little bit of slowdown, and you're able to control the ult a little bit more.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, that's interesting. I saw someone, speaking of Sion's passive, I had a jungler in a ranked game yesterday, level 2 or level 3 cheese dragon. We just all of a sudden, like level 2 or 3 had dragon because he used that cheese, the same one people were using for the buffs. he would go in and he'd die in the dragon pit and just knock the crap out of it, and it was just gone. We just had buff at like level 2 or 3.
Yep, Chiro and I were messing with that.
Sorry, it's actually the
Right.
That's the
HT,
first time
not
I'd
the
seen
ST.
it.
Oh yeah, I've done it a couple times, but I prefer to do the buff deal
Yeah, we've been able to get it to work
without
at
Sion
level.
dying.
Yeah, at Sion level 1, me at
level
level
2.
2 on Lee Sin, and just starting red on blue
Right.
side
You
and
do
going
Krugs, dragon.
and then straight to dragon. Yeah, and we killed it before. Did you even die?
No, I didn't die
Yeah,
because you
we-
use safeguard.
Oh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys are-
Between
you guys are
safeguard and that,
cute.
can't even die. So stupid.
But that's cheese. The best is the buff. If you can get the buff as Sion, that is the best. Ward it as soon as you can. Ward the enemy opposite buff. If you're starting red side, ward their blue buff. If you're starting blue side, ward their red buff because you're on the top side. And a lot of times, if you know they're getting a little wise to it, or if you see their top laner lurking around, you don't want them to hit you once because you die from those minions after the enemy hits you, they get the credit. So you see them lurking around, maybe you don't want to take those turret hits. Ideally, you take 3 enemy turret hits, run in, die immediately, and then passive finish off that buff. Go back, you'll go back to base automatically, get some pots, and teleport to lane. Now, if you are worried about that, you can do a full health one where you don't really show yourself and give it away by taking hits from the turret. It takes a little bit longer. You'll get to lane you'll be level 2, and you'll get to lane right before the enemy gets to level 2 if they're CSing perfectly. But you'll have a buff, and you'll have extra pots, so you still win in that situation. Just a little trick on the cheese, so it's great. Do it if you can.
See,
Adam, I want to see you do the cheese.
I do the cheese, but I don't take the tower shots before I do the cheese because
That's what I was saying, because you'd rather be safe and not be seen and
Yeah.
give it away. Yeah.
yeah, because
Which is fine.
I've just noticed that I give up first blood. I still get the buff. We're still level 2, but they have the extra 400 gold, so really it's kind of a wash. You know, it all depends on how the lane goes and stuff. But I like to do the cheese by just walking up there and taking it rather than showing myself and eating the tower shots to kill it faster. Yeah, I played a number of Sions this weekend in my ranked games. I think I went 3-1 as Sion in ranked, but I was only picking Sion to just fill a hole in my team comp, which was initiate
Based
or
on how
counter
pros were
initiate.
doing, you did really well on Sion, it seems.
I did, and it was like I said, Sion's such a big lane bully. I've got a couple highlights, I ulted behind a turret and missed to kill a person, so I flashback E them and killed them and just walked away. Swag walked away.
I love when they're
thing.
backing at their turret and they don't think about the range on E, and then you're sitting there CSing, they're starting to back, and then you just throw a minion into the fog of war, and bloop, enemy has been slain.
I don't. So I have played against Sion, just like last thought here, and it's actually pretty easy to dodge the E on Sion if you realize it's coming and you know how it
Right.
works.
Yeah, I've done the dance where I'm going this way and he's going that way, so he's not parallel
So
to
you're
me.
doing
I'm
this?
Right.
juking him out, and I'm waiting, and I go, bloop, and try to... Yeah.
Yeah, but that's I think we're gonna end the show with that one. I was gonna talk about this next one with Finn, but I think we'll jump on that on Wednesday. Like I said, on Wednesday, bronze, or I say bronze because I'm so used to bronze boot camp.
It rolls off the tongue better
It
because
really
of the
does.
alliteration.
It does. Battle Arena Smackdown Edition signups will be live on Wednesday. All right, there. I'm gonna make them live on Friday. Make them live on Friday because that gives people time to listen to the episode and get a hold of it. Hell, I might even make them live on Monday. You know what? Just listen to the podcast. They'll give you the bit.ly. You can go to it and sign up. I think that's it, though. I think that ends episode number 237 of the Trinity Force podcast. Do we have anything else? Anything else anybody wants to say? Days, even looking at some replays and stuff. Does you want anybody to send you anything, or what have you been doing with that?
Yeah, if anybody has replays, I know somebody sent in a request for me to look at one of their Battle Arena VODs, and I was able to do that. I streamed it this weekend, and that was really fun. I got to interact with a lot of people, and people seemed to like it. So if you either want me to look over something that you did in Battle Arena, or you just want to send me a replay, replays are better because Battle Arena, they're watching 10 people play, so I can't see everything. But I'd be more than happy to go over it. I can either do it and just send you a video of it, or I can stream it. But either way, so if you're worried about people watching it and you don't want to have it streamed, then we can do that for you too. But yeah, any way that I can help anybody get better. I know that I think Punch was watching replays too and giving some texts. Weren't you doing that for someone? Maybe not.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just me.
I've done that for a few people.
Oh, okay.
Watched replays
I
and responded on
thought so.
email. I also played with somebody last Thursday with the intention to give him advice as we were playing. Problem is, in the first game we played, I gave up first blood at level 1. So I'm pretty bad.
Yeah, we know you are, buddy.
Expect and take it. Don't go into it. Don't expect praise. You got to have a thick skin. Expect,
especially with us, right?
We're not here
Right.
to. We're not here to insult you. Daze isn't there insulting you. She's giving you tips, and may seem nitpicky, but she's going through and she's giving you very good tips that if you think about next time you're playing, you're going to get better. So just that's something that's a personality that a lot of people have, including myself. The first reaction is to be, oh, well, are you nitpicking me? No, no. Rethink it and go, okay, this is to help me. I asked for this. She is helping me and spending time doing this.
I'll try to be really, really analytical about it. Don't take it personally, because I just asked Adam and some other people to look over some of my replays, because I kind of hit like a stagnant point in my ranked. So it's really good for everybody. And DeClaude saw me do one on Saturday. All it is just basic, very cut and dry. This is what you should do. This is what you can do. These are your options. And I'll try to point out things that the enemy's doing wrong, too, for you to capitalize. So it's not just about you. You can see their positioning mistakes and where you can capitalize on them as well.
Right. I will say, from an admin point of view, you guys have until like March 21st to get those free things taken care of, because after that point, we are going to be launching a Patreon, and part of the Patreon is going to be replay analysis for certain players, because we want to be able to give back to you guys, and we want to be able to give back to the people that are actually taking care of you. So really, I'm going to say probably the end of March, you have to take advantage of us right now. After that fact, we're going to just put out there and say we just want a little bit of something for our time. And
it's a lot of time put into doing that. So.
And everything you guys give, like I said, the Patreons, did I mention it last week? I think I did. We have a Patreon coming out. Vaguely. I said we have a Patreon coming out. We're kind of hashing out the details right now. With that Patreon, a lot of stuff will be going back to everybody that's in this podcast. It'll be going back to people doing, putting their time into it. That's what we're using the Patreon for, is to give back to people for using their time, because as DeClaude just mentioned, a lot of this stuff is time consuming, and everybody wants to help out, and we want to be able to all, have fun, enjoy this game, and get better at this game together. So with that said, I think that's it. I think that's everything that we have to offer you guys for episode 237. So check it out. Episode 238 will be live Wednesday again. We do 2 podcasts a week. We will see you at TrinityForcePodcast.com on that date. Peace.
See ya.
Bye, guys.